Hey guys, Cajun Cardboard coming at you from the great state of Louisiana with mail day number 10 and my thoughts on last night's 25 case. I think it was 25 case flawless break hosted by Leighton Sports Cards and Blaze. I'm going a little bit out of order. You're going to see this mail day episode 10 because I wanted to get it out there because I did want to chat about that break last night, period. My thoughts, and I'm going to try to be professional here. I am not a breaker. I have never participated in a break. I get it. I get the allure of it. I can understand wanting to be part of it. I understand that aspect of it that allows people to potentially hit a card in a product that they otherwise would not be able to afford. I actually had a group text going here with some local guys in town, and one of my buddies had a 5% interest in one of the 30 slots. And so, a little piece of it, but it was still fascinating to know that he was part of it, and it was entertaining from that aspect. As far as the presentation generally, I just didn't get a good vibe from it. Again, I don't want to be too harsh or too critical. I didn't like the chicks in the background. I didn't think it was a good look for our hobby. I see that Leighton has issued, I don't know if it was an apology or an explanation, but I read it and I appreciate that. And I'm sure no offense was intended. It's kind of like ring girls in boxing. It just doesn't seem professional to me. It doesn't seem necessary. You didn't need, scantily clad chicks handing cases to people. It could have been done without that. You even put a dude there with a pistol on his hip, like an ex-militia guy or something like that. If you really wanted to promote, security and professionalism and things like that. But again, to each his own. I understand why people like breaks. I understand why people get into breaks, and I certainly understand why breakers break because there's a great deal of money to be made. I just can't imagine giving, it's more gambling than it is collecting. It's even more gambling than it is investing. I mean, if you really wanted to invest and you were a pure investor or a flipper, which sometimes gets a bad name in the hobby, I can think of a million things I would rather do with my $40,000 than buy one of 30 spots in that break. Again, I'm sorry if that offends people. I just kind of wanted to give my thoughts. It definitely does not reconcile with my approach to the hobby as a collector / investor. I just can't imagine forking over $40,000 for a chance at something. It's no different than the reason I walk into, a convenience store or a gas station. I don't buy lottery tickets. Yeah, could I win $25 million? Sure. But is it likely that I will? Not really. Would I love to have a chance to win the LeBron? Yep. But I'd also, rather go buy two $20,000 cards or a $40,000 card, or just keep my $40,000 and buy a 5 Series BMW, or put the money in stock, or put the money in a million. There's just a million more ways that I would personally spend my money. I don't think breaking is bad for the hobby. Far to the contrary, I think it's fantastic for the hobby. To each his own, and like I always say, there is a million different pathways in this hobby, and that's one of them. I do think it brings eyes and attention to the hobby. I just didn't think last night was the best reflection on what our hobby is truly about. And for the uninformed or the unaware or the unwary who is not part of our hobby, I think it might have turned them off a little bit with a little bit too much it just felt slippery and slimy and shady to me. That's just my opinion. Again, I don't know any of the individuals involved in it. I just didn't get that. I just didn't get the professionalism vibe that I would have hoped. I'm almost happy that the LeBron logo man wasn't pulled because that would have made that go even more viral. Anyway, congrats to everybody that was part of it. I'm sure it was a wild success. I just wanted to give my thoughts on it. I won't take any more time. Let's start with the mail day. This is a very interesting mail day. The way it coincided, there's actually two really humongous cards in here. So hopefully you guys enjoy this one. But let's get cranking. So I'll move you over and we'll start our slideshow. Obviously, as always, my cards are contained in the PWCC vault. The first card you see on your screen, I was lucky enough to get from a Jordan collector that I truly admire and respect. It's part of the reason that I made the move for this card, even though the financial timing was absolutely terrible. This is a card that I could not pass up. It's a Kevin Garnett 1997 Metal Universe BGS 8. Yes, it's a monster. I don't know why there is a freaking fish in the background. Like I said, I'm almost certain that whoever designed these cards in 1997 was on LSD. There is no question about it. There's some kind of weird porpoise or fish or bloated dolphin or something in the background with bubbles coming on Garnett. His arms super skinny and his head looks like a peanut. I don't have any idea what's going on, but if you look at him on the back, there's the Kevin Garnett that we all know and love. That right there pretty much can define his career in one snapshot picture. Even from the jump, this dude was an absolute killer. So that card's a big step forward. One of the big dogs in my set chase. As you know, I'm collecting the 97 Metal Universe set. I got this card from the great Stanley Sirotensky. It was a half purchase, half trade. And had to give up a BGS 9 Jordan 86 Fleer rookie duplicate that I had in my collection as part of this deal, but got the deal done and got one big step closer to my ultimate goal and the biggest goal I've ever had in this hobby, which is collecting the 97 PMG Red set. This is a weird little move. I despise this player. This is a pure investment purchase. I think these 2013 retro PMGs are a little bit undervalued. They do reflect the college uniform. This goes against everything, every rule that I have about buying cards in the hobby. I don't like the player. I don't like the fact that it's college uniforms. I don't like retro cards, but PMGs are hot. I think there is an arbitrage and a move to be made for buying raw and grading, even if it comes back a PSA 7 or 8. From what I've seen, there's a little margin there. So this is just to have some fun and add it to my list of cards that I need to send to PMG, get it back, and then sell it hopefully to a Hoosier collector or something like that, or maybe an Isaiah Thomas super collector if there is one out there. Next is going to be a bunch of raw PMGs that I picked up. Again, you guys pray for me. Cross your fingers. I'm sending all these raws at one point in bulk to PSA to hopefully get numerically graded. Worst case scenario, get authentic altered slabs. This one really worries me because the top of it looks, to me, it doesn't even look even. So hopefully it's just a picture. My guess is this one's going to come back authentic altered. I mean, it just looks like the top is undulating. It doesn't even look square. So I'm expecting the worst on this card. But if it gets slabbed authentic altered, I'm fine with that as long as it's in a PSA slab. I'm going to consider it a reasonable part of my set. Another one, this is the Anthony Mason raw, beat up, not going to grade well. If it's numerically graded, it's looking like a 3 or 4. Worst case scenario, authentic altered. Anthony Mason was a bear of a player, nasty left-handed player for the Knicks and the Hornets back in his day. One of the enforcers for those absurd Knick teams that just used to beat the heck out of everybody. Ron Mercer, raw. Really good card that I like. Mercer played for my 96 Wildcats, one of my favorite teams ever. There is his numbers from that Wildcat team. You know, shot 49%, averaged 18 points a game. Probably, I guess, Mercer and Mashburn, and there was a lot of great players on those mid-90s Kentucky teams when Cal made that move and brought Kentucky back to prominence. But Ron Mercer had not so ceremonious a career with the Celtics, but another raw checked off the list. Kerry Kittles, this is actually a duplicate. I have been picking up duplicates in the PMG Reds because you never know when another common's going to become available, and maybe I can make a trade instead of using cash. A lot of times people will give up one PMG Red in exchange for another one that they don't have or that they want more or that's a little more scarce. So I actually was supposed to play against this dude in the state championship in Louisiana way back in 1992. He played for the St. Augustine Purple Knights, which is a historic high school down here in Louisiana. We were nationally ranked. They were nationally ranked in the top 10. And we ended up losing in the semifinals on a last-second missed finger roll. So we ended up 32-1, and they ended up winning the national championship, and he was the Louisiana High School Player of the Year, of course, and went on to great success and was even the Big East Player of the Year at Villanova, and actually had a fantastic career in the NBA as well. I mean, really, really good player in the NBA, so often forgotten about, but a good player in the mid-90s. Next is Todd Day, Arkansas Razorback. Again, not the greatest NBA career. Could score the ball, lights out. Another common that I picked up on my path to the PMG Red set, not much to talk about there. Todd Day and Lee Mayberry formed a tremendous backcourt at Arkansas back in the day. Another SGC card. So again, beggars can't be choosers. I don't collect SGC cards, and I haven't decided if I'm going to crack and resub these to PSA. But this is a pretty dang clean looking Antoine Walker. This would probably grade pretty well even with PSA. A little rough at the top here, which is what you see. You see these like kind of creases / where the card's just kind of breaking away. Like some of the problems you see is like whitening, and then some of the problems you see is like where the card's just kind of, I guess, folding away or bending away. But anyway, really clean looking Antoine Walker card. Another member of my mid-90s Wildcats. Some really great players came from those mid-90s Wildcats teams. So Mashburn, Mashburn's more early 90s, but Mashburn, Antoine Walker, Ron Mercer, etc. Anyway, so picking up that Antoine Walker was a nice find. Picked that up from a very good hobby friend of mine who's always on the lookout for me and has treated me like gold. It really pays to have friends in the hobby when you're trying to collect super rare cards like these PMG Reds. I could not do it without help from my friends and willingness to work with me as a set collector. Another one that came from that same friend who's really almost become a broker for me in helping me locate these cards. A Vinnie Del Negro. This is actually a duplicate as well. This is a pop 1 of 1, just one graded higher. All these cards are super low pop, super hard to find. No one can ever forget Vinnie Del Negro's beautiful feathery butt cut haircut, as good as it gets. Great name, Vinnie Del Negro, really good shooter, and I think he's actually being guarded by Kerry Kittles in this card. So this is a Kerry Kittles ghost card here. So 2 Kerry Kittles in one mail day. Could it get any better than that? So to go from Kevin Garnett, then through all of these somewhat common PMG Reds, and then we're actually going to end it with an absolute whale monster. If you watched my PWCC recap, you'll see this is the Tim Duncan PMG Red that I picked up in the Premier Auction. This was the card that really took some moves. Had to sell some cards I wasn't thrilled about selling. Had to do some consolidating to pick up this card. But there's somebody talking, right? If you buy a card in the PWCC Premier Auction, sometimes your cards get a video. This card's got a video, but I don't have the volume on because I know y'all would rather listen to me scream at the screen than listen to this guy from PWCC talk. But pretty cool. You get to save that. So if your card's transferred to the vault, you get to keep the video, and it just kind of gives you a little background and talk a little bit about the hobby. I've got serial numbered 88 out of 100. So if you see this card on one of those hacked accounts on eBay and it's serial numbered 88, it's not real. It's mine. Again, super happy to pick this card up in a BGA 8 slab. This is a Tim Duncan rookie card, which makes it super special. There's no dolphins or porpoise in the background, unfortunately. No airplane propellers or anything that would indicate the creators were on acid at the time. So it's a pretty straightforward PMG Red, Tim Duncan rookie card. A little beat up around the edges, but that is what it is when you're chasing these cards. I am extremely thrilled to have this Tim Duncan card in my collection. I think it's well graded. I think it's reflective of what the grade should be. Anyway, so that's the last card in my pickup. That's it. So just a bunch of PMG Reds, basically, guys, including an Isaiah Thomas, college PMG Red. That's just a little buy raw grade, hopefully flip type investment. Thank you guys for listening. Again, I hope my remarks about that flawless break weren't too disparaging. I don't like to throw shade at people because each person's trying to make their way in the hobby, and I know those guys are super successful breakers. But watching that video just kind of re-emphasizes why I don't do it. I'm just not a gambler. Like, I don't go to the casino. I don't do daily sports betting. I guess what's funny is I consider myself an extremely, I'm a risk taker, but I guess it's got to make some financial sense to me. And I don't know how many of those 30 people actually got $40,000 worth of cards. Comment below. Let me know how many of the 30 people that had the 30 slots got $40,000 worth of cards. I don't know. Maybe I missed some. I didn't see a $40,000 card in there, and I know some people got multiple cards, but I think it would have been hard for very many of those people to get their money back. Let me know in the comments if you think none, 5, 10 people actually got $40,000 worth of value, which is what the buy-in was. You guys let me know, somewhere around there, sorry. I think it was somewhere around 40, 38, something like that. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought of the break. Am I crazy? Am I way off base? Should I look into breaking? Should I, start buying into breaks? It's never going to be me. I'm just not a risk taker in that way. It has to make a little bit of financial sense for me where there's a good chance that I can increase my return. Besides, I feel like I have a competitive advantage in the hobby, buying low and selling high, just because of my experience and knowledge of the game, and I'm pretty good at the eye test. I feel like I've got no advantage at all. I'm in the same boat as everybody else, and I'm overpaying for a product when I buy into a break. So I just don't get it. Again, the presentation wasn't my style. Maybe everybody else loved it. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. Thanks again for watching, guys. Like I said, this is mail day number 10. It's actually going to release before mail day number 9. I didn't want to make y'all wait. I'm going to release this thing today. It's also Friday, so there's an Explore the Card episode available as well today, and it is the East-West Refractor. So you guys go check that out. That's a really beautiful card with Kobe and Jordan. Stay positive, keep collecting, stay positive, and peace, fellas.